picturesque Nandi Hills. Located a mere 60-odd kilometers from Bangalore, it is a huge tourist attraction. What makes this place memorable is the ever-changing weather. At times it could be pouring here, and then there's the scorching sun. To top things off, the mist envelopes you during certain mornings, making the air cool and crisp. All these also the favorite destination of many dating couples. Also find that at certain points this is also the perfect place to prove your mettle if you're a racing enthusiast. Ladies and gentlemen, News 9 brings you an exclusive on the race to the clouds. It wasn't going to be all bread and butter though. Planning and executing such events requires experience. That's why at the helm of affairs was NSM Racing. The promoter of the event, and executing the job was the SPORTS CLUB of Karnataka.
Well, all the action which you've been seeing over the past 3 days has culminated here in this luxury hotel. Now, why we decided to do this here? Because there was a lot of madness back at the track. There was a lot of engines revving. There was a lot of racers going up and down. We really don't blame them. But here in this peace and quiet, we are going to bring to you the man who is the promoter of this event. He is Nrupati Mane, the director of NSM Racing. And he's going to give us a bit of insight into the event and what the future is going to be like. Thanks for joining us, Nrupati.
My pleasure.
So, what is going to be the race of the clouds? How was it so far? What did the viewers see so far?
We had a very good action for the past 3 days, and the practice run, the final run for the bikes, as well as the final run for the cars. We had very good weather to support us the third day, with a lot of cars pumped up with top BHP, and they did very good timings across. And as well as a lot of bikers broke their own records, which they did in the previous event. So it was a very fun-filled and very kind of action-packed fest. I would rather call it, rather than race, probably I'll call it as a fest.
Day one of the event was just for practice runs. Participants could bring in their cars, bikes and in some cases both to get a feel of the track. Racing 1.5 kilometers through dicey hairpin bends was not going to be a walk in the park. It all starts at the starting line, which is incidentally where one usually encounters problems.
This has been going on from past about 10 years, but it had a long break in between, and we started again bringing this race back to Nandis. And this is about the last 1.5 kilometers from here, with 7 hairpin bends. It's basically a test of skill rather than speed, because the average will not be more than 50 on the 1.5 kilometer stretch. But the skill taking those hairpins in the short stretches is where your car's been very important there.
Okay. Such an event surely draws a crowd, and when there's a crowd, there's bound to be some problems. So what are the common problems you generally face?
Most common problem is only at the start line. We have a lot of spectators at the start line. I would suggest they can't see any race at the start line. They should go stand somewhere in between the curves or in between the short stretches where you can see the car carry more speed, and the small kink there on the corner. That would be more thrill to watch rather than the start line. We just give a countdown here. And I feel people coming to see the hill climb race have to go stand somewhere in between, rather than standing on the start line wasting time, or probably see some. There's no action here on the start line. They'll have to go stand somewhere in between, and they could see, if you see now the curve there, you can see about 3 corners easily. So that would be a very nice spot to watch.
Since This is such a popular tourist destination, it's pretty hard to keep a control on the crowd. It's okay if some people don't care about the races or if some want to watch. It's especially dangerous when some people mindlessly run across the road when the race is on. Speaking about the race, let's get down to the vehicles. There were bikes and cars of all shapes and sizes. Most of them had one common feature. They were stripped to the bone. Why? To reduce weight, which will enable the car to accelerate faster. It was also quite clear that 99% of the vehicles were modified to race to the top in the least possible time. Moving on to day one, the bikes lined up at the starting point. The riders were determined to outdo each other to win the coveted title of being the fastest. From stripped out Honda Activas to skeletal Yamaha RX 135, they were all there. Oh, and not forgetting the superbikes. The superbikes were what the crowds came to see. For seldom have many heard and seen such a harmony of parts molded into one big bike. It was not surprising that the fastest time for the event was set by a superbike itself. And it was no ordinary bike and rider. It was the same combo who won the race last time. And the time was a staggering 1 minute and 21 seconds.
You've seen the fast, you've seen the faster, but you've not seen the fastest yet. And showing you someone who set the fastest time in the bike category in the race to the clouds. Here's Zubair with us. So Zubair, I'm seeing you in a completely new avatar this time actually. Tell me what preparation went into your bike for this race.
First of all, we had to change the tires, and then secondly, we had to check with the suspension. And then I also had done the same timing what I did previous one. So, okay, fine. I'm a bit happy because I'm, that I've done a fantastic timing in wet conditions. So it makes me real proud of myself, that I've proved my...
Famous, the car. And since day 3 was the final day, people came in hordes. The venue was packed with spectators and the racers turned up in good numbers as well. The start of the race saw a few bikes participating as well, including imported motorcycles. Many cars turned up at the event, mostly Indian. The ones that really made themselves heard were a white Maruti Zen, a red Maruti Esteem and the crowd filler, a twin-turbo Toyota Supra. Those present could not have enough of taking pictures and trying to catch a glimpse of the cars zooming past. The sounds of the cars were echoing through the hills, all till they crossed the finishing line. The turn of events eventually led to a prize distribution ceremony in a luxury hotel where those invited were treated to cocktails and dinner. Winners proudly walked away with their trophies, with the promoters and organizers being equally proud to give them. There were several categories too, which meant lots of trophies. Proper crowd management would have made the experience more pleasant. Nevertheless, the hill climb is finally over for now. All that was probably there in the minds of those present, except the hotel staff, was bring on the next race to the clouds. With camera person Guru Charan Singh and Jabbar, Jairam for News 9.